Protein. To begin with, if you are looking for some sort of project to do around the house because you're hanging out at home a bit more and you would like to try making your own nut butter, here's a picture of one that I did at our house. We happen to own a KitchenAid similar to a Vitamix or a Ninja. I would not suggest using a regular kitchen blender. It will overheat a bit, create too much smoke, possibly burn your motor. So it is very easy to create your own nut butters. This one is by using roasted peanuts. So you begin by putting them in and you blend it for a little bit and it kind of becomes this coarse powdery substance for a small amount of time. You keep going, you keep scraping, keep going, keep scraping. It eventually becomes this creamy, sort of warm, smooth nut butter. If during this course it becomes a little too smoky, you can add a tiny bit of water, which will help to not make it so coarse. You can also add a bit of flavor if you want to add a dash of maybe agave syrup or honey or a date. Date can be used as a natural sweetener. You can do it with almonds, you can do it with cashews, with sunflower seeds. You could put a little bit of sugar in it if you want. Nut butters in general are just ground up nuts though. So if you look at the back of a jar of Jiffy or Skippy, you'll see a lot of extra ingredients added, and these are added to increase the length of the shelf life to prevent it from separating and to add better flavor as well, because humans really like sugar, right? But if you want just the nut butter itself, it is absolutely delicious. I really like it at this stage because it's kind of like it's fresh out of the oven, kind of warm, and it's really great. Anyway, just wanted to start with a fun little project. So what do proteins do in our body? So our body is home to at least 10,000 different proteins. If you were to touch your hair right now, if you were to touch your skin right now, if you were to flex your muscles, the oxygen carrying hemoglobin in your blood enzymes that keep us alive and active, protein is involved in all of that. So protein's main function is to build and to repair tissue. So we think of them when we think about our muscles. They help with fluid and electrolyte balance. They help to move things in our body. Cholesterol is wrapped around by a lipoprotein, and that is what helps move it. And it acts as a ferry, taking things to and from different places. We don't want too much cholesterol in our body, but we do need a small amount of cholesterol, and protein acts as that transporter. Which takes cholesterol where it needs to go. And so there are these vital proteins that help then to transport them, to take things in our body to various other places. Protein also helps in blood clotting, and part of our hormones also are producing antibodies. If necessary, protein can also be used as an energy source, but this is a very rare occasion. So how do we make up 10,000 plus different proteins? So the English alphabet has 26 letters in it, and there are a lot of rules in the English language when it comes to creating words, right? So there are consonants and vowels and different things that have to follow specific rules. In the protein language, the protein alphabet, there are 20 amino acids. So just as we have our 26 English letters, there are 20 amino acids, and they act as the building blocks or the protein alphabet. So picture Legos or trains of some sort, like a long freight train made up of different boxcars linked together in a common manner. So the cars can be coupled and regrouped and reordered to create different trains or sets of trains or lengths of trains. Different amino acids can be joined together to make a larger or a smaller protein unit. So the English language, again, has all of these rules, but in the protein language, there are none of these rules requiring alternation or length restrictions of these different peptides and amino acids. They can be arranged in almost an infinite number of ways. So in our protein alphabet, there are 20 amino acids that create this alphabet, and they can be combined to create longer branches or longer strands of amino acids. Within these, 11 of them are considered non-essential amino acids, which means that our body can make them using other proteins found within our body. but there are 9 of these proteins that are considered essential or indispensable. So they must be included in our diet. For example, the absence of one of these essential amino acids from the diet would preclude the formation of any of those proteins that that letter or that amino acid would contain. So the tissue that is requiring these proteins would not be able to be maintained. So for this final slide, and then I'll jump into our next video, takeaway points. 1, try a new creation. Try to make a nut butter or try to add a source of protein that you've never tried before. Number 2, proteins are primarily known for building and repairing muscles, but they do a ton of other things throughout our body. Number 3, there are 20 amino acids that create the proteins within our body. 11 of them can be created within our body, and 9 of them we need to be very intentional about consuming on a daily basis.